Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode, The Truth After Dark, with Paul Pierce and Azar Farideh. And today we have a very special guest that's joining us, Jennelle. She's an intimacy specialist. So we are going to get into the nitty gritty of intimacy, sex, all the after dark stuff. Okay, we're really getting the truth is going to be after dark today.
I see you got your hair up today. You might should have had it down.
Today. She might take it down midway.
After today.
I
feel like it's going to be spicy.
It's spicy today. I can already tell you right now. And I want to get really straight to it, okay? Because before we started, Jennelle shared something with me, and I want to get into this because I can't get my mind off of it. So I need to get into this before I can get into anything else.
I already know.
So you had shared that you drink your own period blood, right?
Yes.
And your own urine.
Yes.
So please explain what that is about to the audience, to me and Paul.
We're really starting off with this. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, we get into it.
You don't ease your way in.
I know.
We're just going for the cliffhanger.
We're going for it.
I've heard things.
I've heard that people do that and they use it for facials and different things too.
You can heal.
Yeah,
yes.
I've heard this.
Is that?
Yeah.
So explain, please.
So I will explain. I was just on Sean Kelly's show talking about this just a few days ago, but I think it's important to remember that not all bodily fluids are equal. Okay. For instance, I'm just coming off, I'm 25 days into a 30-day cleanse where I drank only juices and clean vegetable broth. So I just did a full body heavy metal liver candida parasite colon cleanse. So I'm pretty clean. I don't drink, no shame in drinking. Everyone does it. But for me, because I'm an energy master, sexual energy master, I need my nadis or my channels clean. So because of all of those things, if I'm drinking my moon blood, which I do every month, that is highly charged, right? Yeah. It's like a witcher's.
I'm feeling the energy already.
It's like a witch's brew, right?
Okay.
So but just if you're just looking at it purely medical or scientific, there's iron, right? There's stem cells, there's nutrients that are in the blood. Life is in the blood, correct?
Can I ask you this question?
Yes.
I hate to interrupt.
No.
So
please.
they say with period blood that you're and I could be wrong because I'm not educated. So please correct me. And that's what I want you to do. But they said that period blood is, from my knowledge, ignorant knowledge, is that it's expelling all the bad stuff that's not supposed to be in us. Is that true?
It's just the uterine wall shedding. And so as tantrics, which we'll learn more, blood is life. It's life force, right? If you've had a child or you were a child, or if you don't have one, you know someone who has. If you've been in the delivery room, what do you see? A lot of blood, right? It's life.
For sure.
So the tantrics, we are like the ultimate biohackers, and we want to live for a long time, and we want to make love for a long time so that we can get to God or the divine or the ultimate union, as I say in my book. So for me, this is life force. So when I drink my moon blood, I'm basically aging in reverse. And the urine is the same way. The urine is just a little bit different. There's a lot more medical benefits, I think, that people grab onto versus blood. Because when you say blood, people freak out. But it is really sweet, especially if you're clean. I'm super clean. I don't eat animals. Don't eat dairy. So I'm
so you're that's because I know people do stem cell treatments and NAD shots. I do that stuff.
Correct.
So for me, it's I'm not against anything. I'm just not knowledgeable enough to know, because I've always, this is going to sound disgusting and it's TMI, but I've always loved the smell of my own period blood. That sounds crazy.
No, I think it's good.
But I feel like it's a part of you. So it's okay, whatever. But I don't know that, I feel like you would have to be extremely healthy to want to drink your own period blood.
Well,
that's what she
said.
I know.
Point.
That's what I'm saying. So I wouldn't just recommend to every
Some
single
girl
person.
who's on birth control is taking pharmaceuticals, experimenting with drugs, things like that. I wouldn't recommend it because I think it's not the same. But yeah, I think you should like your own smell, and we talked about that on Sean's show too. We were talking about perfume, how it's killing your natural pheromones. You're I don't wear deodorant either, and I haven't worn it since.
Let me smell you. No, I'm just kidding.
So go ahead, take the test.
Deodorant is bad, though. I heard
very bad.
What were you gonna say, Paul?
So you don't be getting musty?
Well, you tell me.
Let me see. I'm gonna do the sniff test.
No, I'm saying though,
No, it's a little kick, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying though.
It's
And
not
I've also
bad.
been in the
though.
car
they
for
say-
2 hours.
They say,
bad.
they
It's
say
not.
no. Based on the food you eat.
Yes, that's
like,
the point.
You
It's
ain't
not
really
bad.
gotta. You
It's
ain't
not
really
bad,
gotta
though.
wear deodorant because, like you said, the pheromones will come out like based on what you eat. It ain't gonna be
Yes.
no smell.
It's really
Correct.
not bad for you to not have to wear deodorant.
And I am
though.
actually cleansing too. So I was just gonna say, if I'm cleansing, I might take a crystal rock because it's different. But normally, when I'm not on all this
Yeah.
cleaning, you're right. What you put in creates the alkalinity,
Yeah.
and you're and honestly, like, have you ever just like smelled your man and been like, oh
Yes.
my God.
Absolutely.
Or a woman that you like
Absolutely.
wanted to ravish,
like under the armpit.
Yeah.
or not?
I do that, and I'm
yes, and
like,
it's like,
You smell your man right now. You
So
said
keep
you
going.
do that. No, you said you do that.
keep going.
and
no,
it's
but I'm saying you said you do that.
Paul.
and it's a night, and you
That's
should
crazy.
want to like smell that, like it's natural.
Yeah.
But then when we put all these perfumes on, like a nice essential oil is what I have on now, some nice oils.
Yeah.
It's good, but when you start doing the alcohol and all the chemicals, then you're disrupting the endocrine or the olfactory system rather, and that is what messes up with like the natural, like, you know, like men don't like
Pheromones,
chase
yeah.
women anymore, right? They're like, oh, I'm gonna let her come around to me, you know, like that kind of, you know. Why? Do
But
you
I'm
think-
gonna be honest. I smell the fuck good.
I believe you do, and the
But
confidence.
I shouldn't probably smell good the way that I do because I'm using perfume, I'm using oils and body butter.
What
So
you- Probably Summer's
What you
Eve.
mean you smell good?
you know I smell good.
Like you wear good perfume?
Yeah, like I smell good.
Oh, I thought you was talking about something else. No, I'm saying though, well, that's what we talking about. Like
Well, vegans do taste better, and you can ask for references if you'd
vegans
like.
taste
But
better. Like the skin.
I've heard that,
Like the,
and like
the
even
skin.
male semen.
no, just like the yoni
Vaginal.
juices. So
vagina
yoni
juices
is the
taste better.
they say that the vegans like the vaginal, but I've never had no complaints. I'm gonna keep it real. My shit is good.
yeah, and it's just pretty simple. But like so
Okay.
in Sanskrit we say yoni, and that's the word for vagina. We like to
Okay.
use, and lingam is for penis. We like to lingam.
I
We
like
to
that.
use those words because there's no energetic charge attached. If you say like dick, pussies, all these words, or
What
yeah,
about vagina? That's not good
it's
either.
so like medical. Like I'm
Yeah.
going to the gyno to
Yeah.
get my
What do you
vagina.
call? What do you call it? again?
Yoni.
Yoni. So YONI, and you'll see.
I
it in the
know
book.
yoni because said yoni, but I never heard of the other one.
Lingam.
Lingam.
Like
That's lingam.
lingam.
A-
It's your penis,
Okay, lingam.
basically.
Okay.
And so that's in Sanskrit, like the male penis is their deity. Like it's like, you know how in the church we have the cross and Catholics have Mary and the crucifix, things like that. Well, in India, in the Hindu culture, in the Tantric culture, the lingam is called a Shiva lingam. It's like the yoni on one side, and the lingam at the top, erect lingam, that's their god. So
Whoa.
we look at
They worship the penis.
yeah, so I'm serious. So at my retreats and stuff, we really work on like the divine masculine, divine feminine. Like that's thrown around so much, but we really
Yeah.
do. Like the women bow down to the men and vice versa because we think
Where's
that
this country at? What country is this?
this is Shakti's world.
Where's that at? I need to go there.
Like
I need to go there.
my retreats and stuff. But this is
Man,
from a lot of
when
this
is
is
the
from
next
the
one?
Indian culture.
What is the next one? I need to go to that.
We're in Bali in September. Come on.
Yeah,
In
we gotta
Bali?
go.
You guys gotta
We're gonna
come.
go.
Okay,
we could
so-
do shows like every night.
We'll go.
All
And
right,
we could interview the
okay.
guests.
We're gonna go.
I'm
Okay,
listening
make
to
sure you
you.
hold us to that.
Yes,
too.
please.
We are.
Okay, so like if like I'm trying to understand because you come off like real energetic, and
Spiritual.
Yes.
Love your
Now,
energy.
does the man what type of man do you like then? Like, does he have to be kind of in that world?
So
Like, because if he coming over here, he drinking, he smoking, and then y'all having sex, he bringing
Yeah.
impurities
I
to
know.
you.
and
know
are
what
you
I'm saying?
single? Are you with somebody?
So okay, let me caveat this.
Okay.
I will talk about like my past,
Okay.
but because I learned, you learn from your mistakes, right?
Yeah.
You go back and watch your tape. I'm sure you didn't make very many mistakes, but you
I
go
made a
back
lot of
and you watch
mistakes.
them, and then you see like, oh, I did. So for me, I was dating someone who was 6'8". I like athletes, and my son's father is 6'7", and
Okay,
his
that's what's
uncles
up.
are 7 feet. They're
He in the league?
European basketball
He-
players, not
oh,
the
word.
same as NBA, but
Oh, that's still he professional.
so
Or are they black? I'm
They
just
are
curious.
black.
Okay,
Okay,
I
so
just
she
I
like
just
black
I
professionals. Okay.
I like the black men. I don't know
Okay.
why.
Damn,
That
okay.
sounds weird. I
Damn,
call them
that
black
ain't
leads.
weird.
I've
That
called
ain't
them
weird.
black leads.
That's not
So the black leads are great to me. But I've learned a lot over the years. So I was dating this guy. He's 25, And he was 25 when I was about to be 40,
Okay.
right?
So you like him younger?
No, this was my first go.
So this is some recent shit.
This was about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Right? And so he was from Inland Empire, which is like nowhere. And he'd never left the U.S. He had never, didn't know Tantra, didn't know yoga, didn't know breath work, nothing. But like there was just something about his energy. And I was like, I just like this guy. He's a kid. You know, he's a barber, for crying out loud, right? And let me just tell you, I had a very intense, like, traumatic life. We don't have to talk about that, but my TEDx talk's coming out, so you can hear all about it. But so for me, this was like fun. I just wanted something fun. We got through COVID, which was intense, right? Yeah. So I met him post-COVID. And I just went with it. And he would travel to my retreats. But you brought up a good point. And we were very sexually compatible. I talk about that in my book. Size does matter.
Okay.
We were going to ask that, actually.
Yes. And there's an illustrated thing, and we talk about it. And we can get into that next.
We will, yeah.
But just, to wrap up this story, it was like I had the most insane, like, we had great sexual experiences. He was so fun. But he was no offense, he was like Hooper and OVO shirts and the games, and that was it. And I was like, bro,
what is the OVO shirts? What do you mean? Like just
like like OVO is like the brand, like that's what he Drake's stuff.
Drake's,
like, he just wore the
some
shirts,
young boy shit.
Okay, got you.
The
on
kicks,
some young YN,
and just the basketball, and that was it. And
had
like
nothing else going on.
There was nothing else, and his EQ was just like he was from from Rancho Pomona.
Yeah.
So it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Even though, and he financially just wasn't there. Of course,
she was just having fun though.
Yeah. It was so fun. Let me tell you, I loved him. I was in love with him. We talked about marriage and we talked about kids, all that stuff. But in the end, it was like it really wasn't going to work, right? So now, and I put him out there on blast.
Why?
Well, I didn't know I was an idiot because I'd never really gone publicly with dating someone.
So you're saying when you put him out there, you're saying you just like posted him,
and this
him.
and that. I didn't know that was. I'm sorry, maybe you know what I was saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just wanted to clarify.
So for now, I don't kiss and tell, and now I'm just
me too.
More
I'm the same way.
Like, let me just take. But I will tell past stories, and so
I'm the same way.
But Paul, you were right. It wasn't the best match because I was like. It just the emotional maturity, and he was open. He still calls me as of last year I stopped taking his calls, but he'd be like, I'm at Whole Foods now. I'm like, great, awesome.
Whole Foods is,
so I did change his life in regards to I turned him on stuff he would never have done. Yeah. And I feel like I did my karma yoga in the world. Yeah. And I had a great time with him. But I think it is interesting to say I did think about that. I'm putting this in my body and I work so hard, and then he's out smoking weed, eating me, and then I'm just drinking his what, and I'm like, is this good for me?
So now you allowing impurities
into your body.
And he was vaccinated. Sorry, I don't want to go there, but
but I'm saying if you coming off with your type of energy and you're doing away with all the impurities, you're allowing another man with the impurities to be giving you his tough. Energy. It was like it's off.
It was tough. If you know the Bible, it says don't be unequally yoked.
Yep, I was just gonna say that.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm a pastor's daughter, so I could quote.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so 25 minutes in, you gonna tell me?
I didn't notice it until I think maybe your chain might have slipped. I didn't notice it. I would have said something
right
this second. Man, with friends like y'all who need enemies. They gonna let me look like this for the first
bling
30
is
minutes.
Blinding everyone. No one even sees.
First of all, when I recognized it, I made sure you was good. So don't try it.
Bogus.
Don't try it.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, all right. So look.
So anyways,
hold on, before we go any further, this book right here. Yes. Unfuck Your Sex Life. Wow.
Yes.
Tell us a little about this.
Okay, so. It was my
wait, first of all,
yes,
before
Paul,
you get started.
Get in the mic.
Before you get started.
Yes.
What inspired you to do this?
Great question. I got obsessed with the idea when I was in Thailand training. There was just yogis around me, people who'd been at my school for decades, just meditating for 10 hours a day.
So you had a cult.
Oh, people consider my school a cult, sure. It was on the Netflix Unwell. It was the third episode about Tantra was on there. My school was on there.
Vibes.
Well, what was the Unwell? It was about the programs?
It was about, of course, the leaders, just like Bikram. It was a Bikram thing. I didn't have that experience with my gurus. I never had anything bad to say.
I was in a cult when I was young. I got inducted into a cult. It was really traumatizing when I was 14 to 17.
So these things do exist, but to me, I didn't have that experience. I had just a very spiritual healing experience. And when I was there at that school, I just became obsessed with the idea because I grew up what I consider to be a cult in an extreme religious, fundamental Christian, like Mormon type upbringing. So all I had was that. And then I was in the life. So I was like trafficked in the Vegas strip club world for like 10 years.
When you say trafficked, what
like
do you
I
mean?
had pimps that like took all my money and like that's what my TEDx is
Okay.
about.
Okay.
Concussions from it.
Wow.
I don't want to talk about that because I
No,
like
yeah,
to talk
yeah.
about what I do now.
Yeah, yeah.
But so all I knew was like God and then sex. And then I went to Tantra and it was like God and sex combined. So I went from God to sex and sex back to God. That's kind of how I say it.
Okay.
So while I was there, I was like the most quote unqualified person training.
Okay.
All my peers were like lifelong yogis, you know, eating buckwheat, meditating. And I was just like, this information is like transformational. Like this has changed my life. And most people don't have the trauma I experienced, but they have trauma on some level. Maybe they were touched, maybe they were raped, maybe they were sexually repressed because of religious stuff. I knew people had these experiences.
Yeah.
And I just thought if I could like give this to people who weren't yogis, that was my obsession. Like I want to teach this to not people who go to yoga studio, but for people who like yourself, like play basketball. You just regular people, right? Not regular, but you know what I mean?
Okay.
That weren't in the spiritual world. So that was the passion behind the book. And I wanted to make it a spiritual book that was applicable, that anyone could just open it and say, oh, this is why I don't like having sex with my husband, because we're not matched the best. And here's how we can fix it. Or, you know, like, here's why I can't orgasm, right? As a woman.
Oh,
and
wow.
I can fix
That's
that.
very common
right?
for women.
Yeah,
Or
I know.
Women don't
men.
orgasm at all.
I can't wait to read this.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited.
Yeah,
and
I should
like,
have brought you one, but I'll come back and bring another one.
Okay, yeah, I'm really excited to read it. For speaking on that, what do you recommend for women who can't orgasm? Like, do you feel like it's the partner? Do you feel like a lot of the reason is them? Like, I know me, I have sexual trauma.
Yes.
So like I've been raped, I've been molested and things. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I have a hard time finishing
reaching
coming,
climax,
you know?
yes.
And then
It's very normal. And thank
Yeah.
you so much for sharing, because like at my retreats, I do this. The first night is all about shaking the shame. It's like the whole title, and it's a theme. So every night at my retreat is a different theme, from what we work on to what we wear to what we eat to the fun activities at night. So it's like a sense. It's like Eyes Wide Shut, but like a conscious level.
I love Eyes Wide Shut.
No, that's what we do.
That's
And
dope.
so
and I love that.
it's luxury. We're
Yeah.
not sleeping in tents like we do, like 5-star. Like I want people to come and like feel like this is church for sex, you know, if that makes sense. And that's
Yeah.
what I do. So I ask all the women and men too. And I say, who has not had some kind of physical or sexual trauma, right? Raise your hand. And every retreat, whether it's 10, 15, 25 has been my largest, all the hands stay down except for one. Sometimes a half a hand. And then I'll be like, what's the half? And then she'll say, well, I'm not sure if this is trauma. I was kind of touched by my uncle. I'm like, that's trauma. So like in denial, right? So it's like 1 out of every 3 or 4 women have experienced some kind of trauma.
And are they in denial a lot? Because
sometimes they are, because of the shame, right?
Yeah.
Because it, depending on what kind of culture, like the Black culture is very like with men, you don't talk about shit.
Yeah, we don't talk about
You
that.
can't
don't
talk about none of that shit.
You don't talk about
And
it.
even me, like I was molested I was raped and whatever the case by men and women. And so for me, it's like there was a lot of time, even with the women, where I was just like, well, it was just, she's a girl, you know, like it wasn't that crazy, you know, whatever the case is.
You were still probably younger, and it was still
Yeah.
against your will, and that's all the same, right?
Yeah.
So depending, and then the Hispanic culture is a little different, right? We have like the machismo culture, and it's like the men, this is how they treat their women, and so it's very different. But what we do focus on for women is that's such a long question, but yes, it is solvable. And what we do first is we have to because remember, the body keeps score. So whatever happens to you, even though it happens like on the physical level, your body kind of closes up in the times of trauma, like physically. And I don't know if you've ever dissociated, but I did.
I dissociated.
So you just leave the body. Sometimes people see their body down there, or they go just blank, right? And it happens to men too. And then they come back. But what happens is there's like whatever wires together. You've heard that, right? About synapses in the brain. So anytime that happens, now your body is going to have sex again with your partner who you love and trust. And then you just go right back to that. Oh, no. This is not right. And so it could be a smell. It could be just the act itself, could be anything. And the smells bring back memories right away. So you go right back into fight or flight. So you leave. And then you're never going to climax, even if it's your husband. So this is the work I do, right? It's very powerful. And so we do a lot of this reintegrating back into the body. That's what we call like somatic. You've heard the somatic. That's what it is, like with breath, with connection, with touch. And there's so many variables, but every woman has the capability to climax. But we know that only 70% of women actually climax through clitoral stimulation. That's the only way they can climax.
Me, for sure.
Internally, which there's 11 forms of climaxes or orgasms, if you will. But we only know there's like maybe less than 20% of women who actually experience that.
You know what?
That's crazy, right?
That's me. I've only had clitoral.
You know why women ain't climaxing is because these men don't know how to, like, they forget about the intimacy part.
Yes.
And I think because like when you build it all up, when it's the rubbing, the touching, the oils, the smell, the conversation.
Yes.
It ain't just going into it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I think they forget about that part. It's just like you just go right into it and think it's like, the man gonna be cool, but the girl gonna be like.
Correct. And what you're saying is,
you know what I'm saying?
It's so true. Here's how I like to say what you said in a shorter way is like men need sex to even think about opening up to the idea of intimacy. And women need intimacy before they even want to warm up to actual sex.
Because if you have me here, you have me here.
Correct.
And that's 100%.
Because you can damn near make a girl get there before you even by just your convo and the eyes. And I'm telling you, the energy.
Yes.
It's like soon as you go in, they gon' if you have me here, you have me here. If you got this mental state of mind, and that's what I think this generation or just men in general, it don't have nothing to do. It's no generational gap about this. It's just like men don't got that.
They
men
just
ain't doing that no more.
They're not. And a lot of it has to do back to the orgasm or lack thereof, if you will, is a lot of women don't understand the body, their own body. Yeah. Nor do men. Yeah. And there's diagrams in there you'll see of both the male and female anatomy and with the color and everything and the names. And in the back, I give you a quiz with no names and you have to see what you learn and then you have to explore with your spouse. So I make this practical because it's like, how are you going to learn? Whoever taught you about sex? Most people learn about sex through porn. And then they try to emulate what they saw on porn. Yeah. Can you imagine doing that and expecting?
I think you got to learn through your partner. It ain't because it's like this. You can look at whatever instructions book you got for anything.
Yes.
But like I could read a book on basketball. I could read a book or look at a video of basketball, any sport. But until you actually do it, and it's so many different situations. Like it's so many different. Every woman is different.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
That's a great point. And the time of the month.
So like what I do for her to make her is going to be different for her.
What you do for me.
You know what I'm saying? And I gotta be as a man, be around her to give that a read.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
I want to ask you this.
No, that's a very what he was saying is so true. So I have the manual in there to see, but the real goal is for you to show and tell, and not to do it during actual sex. That you have what I call like explore times, where it's a night where it's not about climaxing or sex. It's just let me explore your body, and you tell me how this feels, and vice versa. For guys, it's pretty cut and dry. Yes, and
I think that's important.
It is very important.
You gotta be like, as a man, you gotta be like, I can't assume what you like. I got my ass.
Well, we've been on this, however old you are. We've been on this planet a long time. How's this guy supposed to know?
We think we know everything. We think because I'm make her orgasm every time. But nah, you gotta ask.
Yes,
I think that's important to constantly communicate that.
Correct.
But now I want to ask this question, right? So in my previous experiences or whatever, like there's some people that it's just there.
You mean like the chemistry is just there?
It's just there. The chemistry, the sexual attraction, boom, boom, boom. It doesn't take work. It doesn't take effort. It's like, boom. This is like everything. And then there's some people where it's like, you might really want to be with this person, but the sexual chemistry is not there.
There's so much there that you said. That's funny. Yeah. There's so much there that you said.
So I'm curious because it's like, what would you recommend to women? It's like, do you stay in the situations where it's not there?
Yes. This is a this is a great question. Not yes, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
So here's what I say to my clients. When
wait. Before you answer that, Mike, let me ask you something. Like, what if it's mentally stimulating, the combo is good, everything is good, but the sex
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's
what
you're asking? Yes,
that's what I thought you was
basically.
asking.
Yes. Yeah, like you want to be with this person, but when you have sex, it's just like...
Sex is the basis of all relationships.
That's what he said.
That's what you say. That's what I say.
Okay, so I'm going to agree with you. Let me ask you, what differentiates your marriage, or I'm not sure if you're married.
I'm not married, but I've been married.
You've been married. Thank you. Okay, so you've been married.
Yes.
What differentiated your marriage from your relationship with your children, your mother, your father, your teammates, your friends? What's the only thing that differentiated that relationship?
Sex.
Thank you. Right. So, thank you. It's simple. You're like, is this a harder question? No, it's simple. This is why I say this to all couples. And a lot of people, like the Gottman Institute, they can predict if a relationship will last based on a questionnaire, and they're fairly good at doing it. However, I think there's a difference between a successful marriage and a passionate, intimate, connected marriage. You can have a successful marriage. We know that the most successful marriages in the world are arranged marriages, and that's for financial benefits alone. But if you want a passionate, connected marriage, you have to have what I call sexual polarity. And I teach the science of sexual polarity. What does that mean? I don't care if you hang out, you have great emotional, like mental chats, you get along well then be friends. Right. Don't marry that person. Don't fuck that person, because what happens, you know this, you're an athlete. What is the number one thing that happens to your body when you stop working out or you stop training?
The number one thing when you stop working out and stop training, well, you lose muscle.
Thank you. Yes. Atrophy. It's the law of what? Entropy and atrophy.
Yeah.
So what happens after you've been married? What happens when you've been married for some time? Even if you're just dating, you've dated.
You lose spark.
It goes. Yeah. So how can you start off with no spark? If you already are starting off with no spark sexually, how, like, the sexual polarity is so important. It's almost as important, in my opinion, as your top 3 values.
So you can't grow that, though?
I mean, I think you can, but I think you have to give yourself a time. Like, say, like, I give everything 90 days. If you want to leave the marriage, 90 days. I've got the formula for you to do to see if it'll last. If you do this and give your all, everything for 90 days, and things don't change, then leave. Or leave the relationship.
That's not a lot of time, though.
Well,
I think it's enough because you don't want to drag it.
I'm saying the very minimal.
You don't want to drag it, though, Paul, because then at that point you're just wasting your time and their time too.
At least 90 days.
I think if you were married, I get it, but like with dating, that's a long time.
Yeah, 90 days is
dating. That's a little 90 days.
Dating, and I'm saying the very minimum for marriage 90, because you have kids and you have this and money.
So you saying 90 days.
To
see
I
agree with that.
Because anything after 90 days, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
There's 8 billion
so if
people on the planet.
If we're not together after 90 days, then let's move on.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, if we can't work it out in 90 days,
if you don't want to fuck me after 90 days, you're going to want to fuck me in 6 months. You know what I'm saying?
So I'll meet a girl.
Yes.
What's up? Let's go out. After 90 days, I should know if I want to be with her or not.
I mean, I think okay. If you don't want to have sex with her in 90 days, there's a problem, right?
Ooh, that is a problem.
Right?
Men know right away.
Yes,
but
correct.
Also, too,
first of all, a man ain't even gonna holler at you unless he.
Well, men are different, but this is what we're also saying, though.
It ain't I don't need 90 days.
This is what we're also saying.
I met you on that.
Right.
Because we visual.
Yes.
This is what we're also saying, though. Imagine you're dating a woman for like 6 months, right?
Yeah.
And within that 6 months, y'all have been y'all were like cool in the sex, but the sex is like all right. And you're like, there's something missing with the sex. Everything else is there. The sex is all right. Well, we've been dating for 3 months. Something is missing with the sex. So guess what? I'm going to give you 90 days. If we can't figure this sex shit out in 90 days.
If you don't prove your sex in 90 days, I got to say that. Damn, that's crazy.
You don't have to say that. It's a mental thing you're telling yourself.
You know what? It ain't even that. You know what? It ain't even that. Because there's people now that can better you. And the sex is cool. You can live with it.
You can't, but you say that you can't.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I think that
yes, you can. Because if I got a real one, and I know she cool, and I know she got my back, and I know.
Well, I do see what you're saying.
It might be almost better. That might even last longer if her sex is whack. Because I know niggas ain't gonna be wanting to fuck. So that might be better to get with somebody like that.
It's about your outcomes and what you want and what your top values
are. Because this is the thing that I'm gonna say. Sex to me, this is a serious question, and I don't know if you have the answer or not. But if the sex is not there, doesn't that mean that there's something wrong? Like something must not
wrong.
Be wrong.
It might be not what he. Because think about this. You ain't gonna always think about this. A girl and a man ain't gonna just be completely satisfied all the time.
Not all the time,
like,
of course.
Because like, damn, I know marriages where it's like, damn, how did they break up?
Yeah,
they've been together 20 years. Like, nah, it don't matter because y'all like. And it's both. It's like you get so used to it that you just be like, just the thought of somebody else, it crosses your mind. And then now the outlets that we got, now that you sitting here, motherfuckers is in your DMs now, you getting attention.
Crazy.
It's like you getting so much attention, more attention than you ever got before now. And now the 1 week where your man is mad at you, y'all arguing, but you getting all this attention now. And then you creep off, boom, boom, boom. But then you come home and y'all got a happy marriage and y'all still cool. He don't even know. But you want because you wanted to just kind of see. I just seen somebody divorce. Man, he happy marriage. She was cool, happy everybody. Man, he put the PI on her. Man, she was sliding on him.
There's a lot.
But this is what I'll say. This is
and
why
these is
I
top
have a
celebrities
problem
I'm
with
talking
it.
about. And these is top athletes I'm talking about. They getting cheated on.
But this is what I'm saying.
No one's immune.
My mental, if it's there, it's not about whether a man is performing. I've been with men for years where I never came, but I was enjoying the sex.
Yeah.
Because I was wet before they even touched me. I was into it. So if
because
that's
the
not
intimacy
happening,
was cracking.
Yeah, if that's not happening, for me, it's something wrong.
I think we have to define, because when you said sex, there has to be a definition of what I say sexual polarity, meaning there's that strong pull of masculine energy and that strong pull of feminine. So that's what I mean. I'm not talking like porn star sex, this, that, she gives you good it doesn't matter.
I'm not saying, I'm with you.
Right. If you find someone that you're sexually compatible with, but there has to be, if I'm like around you and I don't feel, remember, women stop wanting to have sex after a couple kids, their hormones change. Some of them let themselves go. I think the standard's getting a little higher, especially in the areas we live, because everyone cares about looks. Yeah. But in middle America, you pop out a few kids, her hormones are whack. She's probably been on birth control most of her life. Who knows what kind of hormones she's getting in the meat? She just stops wanting to really have sex, right? And then, of course, in the men, we know men can't live without sex. They need intimacy too, but they're hardwired for it. And then that's when you said, like, people start stepping out. Today, we're seeing more women doing it because women are just like, I don't have to deal with this. Like you said, I can go in my DM and so-and-so is going to, take me out, or they'll get divorced and then they'll get the glow up body. And then they'll go start giving into the community when they weren't sleeping with their husband for years. I hear this all the time in my practice.
But do you think a lot of women are with men for financial stability more than they are with
100%.
this?
Of course.
Because there's a lot of men where you're just like, okay, well, I could just be with this man because it's secure, it's safe. But the sex, but those women, I see a lot of women cheat. Because then they're like, I'm with this man, but I want to go get with this other man that's going to make me wet, and he's dangerous, and he's fun, and he doesn't.
They're doing, I say this all the time, it's just their second job. In the club, we used to have this statement where girls were like, we'd stop seeing a stripper come to work, and we'd be like, where'd she go? Where'd Candy go? Whatever, just being facetious here.
To dance?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So in Vegas, I worked at the Rhino, Spearmint Rhino. Good club.
Out here?
No, in Vegas. I was a Vegas girl. So
Paul, I never used to dance, and I have no problem with people who used to dance.
Yeah.
But me, I never danced.
Okay. So we'd have this saying where we would be like, where did they go? Where's Candy? And then someone would be like, oh yeah, so-and-so took her out of the club. I'm like, oh, so you mean she just traded her 9 to 3 for a 9 to 9? Because it's just a different job, but she never gets days off now. She's on the clock full time. And what happens is a lot of those guys who come into the club and rescue women, or quote simping, if you want to call it these days, these guys are not the 666. They might have the credit card that's buying them, right? Do you know the 666?
What's the 666?
It's in the red pill. It's like over 6 foot.
Oh yes,
six pack we call it. You know, making 6 figures.
Yes,
and I added over 6 inches because that's my department, right? So, but like most of those guys who are pulling those women out, they don't look like that, right? Yeah. They have assets, right? And so these women, like you said, they are maybe they got married, maybe they popped out the kids, and now they quote secured the bag. Then they don't want to fuck him anymore
because the bag is secured.
The bag's secured. They've got the kids.
Yeah.
They've got the money coming in. They're going to Pilates in their Range Rovers and buying their $20 Air-On smoothies.
That sounds familiar in my life.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm in PTSD or whatnot. But but then they're like, well, now I want the young hot guy to make me come alive, you know? And then they're like, fuck him. I don't need this guy anymore, you know? And that's what we see happening. And I really see, and I say this all the time, and you know the stats. Men file for divorce like it's like 90%, 90% of the time. Or women do.
Women. I'm about to say no.
I'm sorry.
Women are the ones.
I was looking at you.
I was like,
so no. Women are the ones who are filing for divorce. I apologize. Men will stay and they'll stick it out because they do not want.
I wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah, they don't want to try. They don't want to do all the stuff they had to do in the beginning to get the girl. Yeah. And you like, I know for some caliber men, they don't even have to do as much, but they still have to do some. Yeah. And to men, you guys are pretty simple. If you guys have a loyal woman who takes care of your sexual needs, who's a good mom, and you're happy. And even if you have to beg for sex here and there, like you'll do it. You'd rather do that than divorce. Women are like, F you, I'm gone. I'm going to get my body.
All you need is a friend to help kind of like lead it on. Somebody that's like
single women giving other single women.
That's all you need. You need that one by your side.
Is the worst.
That's because you ain't gonna be on it, but they gonna have that one friend that's single that's gonna gas you up. Yeah. All right. The question. This is the ultimate question.
What is it, Paul?
Is it the size one? I thought it was.
Does size matter?
Size does matter. It does matter, but it's not what you think. Everyone just thinks, okay, it's bigger is better. It's not always bigger is better, and I'll tell you why. And you're going to see in the book.
All right.
There are, just like there's different sizes and shapes of people, right? You're tall. How tall are you? You're
5'6".
5'6". I'm like 5'8". Like we're all different shapes and sizes, right?
Yeah.
What do you think our anatomy is like for men? We know everyone's very vocal about men. Men's we can kind of see, right? Well, not visibly, but you men know how big they are. For women, it's a little different, right? Because our sexual anatomy is on the inside of our body, which is why sex is more emotional for us than it is for men. It's you're literally entering us, so we have to surrender so that you can come inside of us. Like that was like double entendre. I didn't mean that.
Yes, I say this all the time.
You know what I'm saying? So it's our portal, and for the women, our yoni is the portal of consciousness. It's the portal where God lives. It's where the divine is. So it's the most sacred spot. And so for us, it's very intimate.
I say this all the time.
So just think about this. Now we have all these sizes, and by the way, if the average size for men is around 5 to 6 inches, right? That's normal. If you're over 9 inches, you're like if you're 9 inches or more, you're 1%. If you're like 10 or above, you're like 0.00%. You are in there. It is so rare that it actually happens, right?
Okay.
I'm scared of that dick.
Now for women, it's very interesting because we took a lot of this from the original love makers, which was the Kama Sutra. The Kama Sutra. The Indians coined the Kama Sutra. Many people don't realize that Indian culture was never repressed. They were actually very sexually astute. They were sexually prolific. They were free. what happened is when the British came in and colonized them, everything became more prim and proper, and the sexual stuff started to go underground. And that's where my people came in, the tantrics. But if you go to the temple, you can go to the Kama Sutra temples today, and you will see what's considered pornography on the wall with animals, guys and guys, tons of women, or crazy stuff, right? That you don't think of when you think of Indian culture, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So what we learned from them, we didn't take all the, we pick and choose, but what we did understand is that there's a size of anatomy from women and men. So what we call it is like they used animals. I think that was pretty intense
like
to call. No, like the sizes, like the large size for women was like an elephant. I don't like saying that because I think that's a little intense for a woman.
And this is what, like a
the
woman's
inside of the yoni, from
okay.
the entry to how long it goes all the way up to the cervix, right? Because you know how the term, I know it's kind of gross and crude, but like bottoming out, guys will say that. Like,
what is that?
Bottoming out, it's like when they've like hit the point of they're like you can't go any further. I'm not trying to be graphic, but that's how else to explain it, right? Guys will be like,
sure.
And some guys, it's kind of maddening for them because they're like, I want to go further if their anatomy allows them to do that, right? And then they're like, I can't really go all the way in. And then for the woman, she might be like, I can't take anymore. But then some women are with men who they're like, that's it. Like, I have longer. I have more to go.
Yeah.
So, so you understand. So we have 3 sizes. I like to say there's small, medium, and large. And I use fruit in my books, because fruit and vegetables, because it's a little more fun and less like offensive to call a woman's yoni an elephant. So basically how the pairing goes is you only want to go, so it's like we have small, medium, large, we have kiwi, mango, papaya, and then we have we use carrot, banana, and cucumber. So small, medium, large.
Okay.
So you only want to go across and the bottom down. You never want a diagonal. So you don't want to, for instance, you don't want a kiwi, small yoni, meaning only 5 inches deep, with a giant cucumber that's 9 inches. That's not going to work. I mean, just think, you've seen those GMO cucumbers, right? They're huge. Trying to put it into a tiny little kiwi. How's that going to work? And vice versa.
Yeah.
You have a tiny little carrot, not a GMO one, a small carrot, with a papaya. You've had a papaya, right?
Yeah,
They're massive.
Yeah.
How is that carrot going to have any kind of satisfaction in that giant ass papaya, right? Like, right. Like, oh, and on my retreat, we bring out the fruit and we have it's so fun. We have so much fun with it. But the point is, I try to make it funny, so it takes the like intense, like, oh, we're talking about sexual anatomy, DEI. No bullshit, no DEI stuff. We got to get real if we want to make relationships work, right? So, and I'm for the family unit. I want people to have.
So carrots and papayas don't work.
Carrots and papayas don't work. You don't want a cucumber and a kiwi, but you could have a mango and a cucumber, because that's the middle.
You can spend a lifetime trying to find the perfect then.
Well, if you are with someone who is in that extreme anatomy, there are things you can do positioning wise to make it better for the woman or the man. There's both for the women. Say, for instance, you're a woman who is with a carrot. And you're a papaya. Sorry, we'll just say it. There's no bad thing about it. And by the way,
she ain't messing with him no more.
No, she maybe.
But if she likes him,
if she's emotionally, mentally,
have you ever been with a carrot and you was a papaya? Are you a papaya?
We don't know, but I can help her. I can help you.
You can help her?
I can help her figure out. Not like what you're thinking, but
we gonna y'all go ahead. Let me see how you gonna help her right here.
I can't believe I said I'm always just wanting to serve. I'm like, I got it. I love it.
I don't know, but I will say that I have been with a man where the dick wasn't, and
it wasn't fulfilling,
but it wasn't something else. Call it something else.
Okay, the lingam.
The lingam. I'm sorry, the lingam.
Okay. You have the proper wording for this. Please.
Okay, the lingam wasn't fitting in the yoni. The way that I'm like, okay, this is cool.
It wasn't fulfilling fully.
But I would need something a little more.
Okay, good.
Know?
So fair enough. So that's
what that mean.
She wasn't being fully fulfilled.
So I'm going to say this. Let me just say this. lingam, right?
Yes.
I don't want no long this big.
It's
I
more
don't
about
like
the
that.
girth for you.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable.
Wait, how did you say it again? Like this?
Yeah, this
That
big.
exists? Does this
I
exist?
I think the
don't want
largest
a-
was like 12 something.
No,
Huh?
Or
I don't
13
want.
in the Guinness book. I know all about this because I've
Damn.
studied for
I don't want a very large one.
What's your preference?
I like a medium,
But you like
a
the
width.
girth. The girth. is
not
what
a
we call it.
huge like thing, but like a nice
So you might.
medium black
Okay.
man.
You're probably a mango.
Okay.
Probably
Yeah.
a mango,
I
which
like
is
a
right
nice-
in the middle.
Yeah,
Which is right
I think
in the
I'm
middle.
in the middle.
So kiwi,
Yeah.
mango, papaya. Yeah.
I think because I could.
I'm about the same
Yeah,
as well.
I think I'm in the middle because I like a nice girth, is that what it's
Yes.
called? And a nice length, but not super big, like medium. I like
And
a
the-
medium thing.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
medium lingam. So that's great.
Yeah.
So there are things you can do, and that's what I was going
Okay.
to tell you. I
Yeah.
have these yoni eggs. I should have brought some. Maybe next time I'll bring my props with me, and then we can do
Yes.
like really get into this.
You live in Vegas?
I'm in Newport Beach.
Okay.
Yeah,
Love
I'm not. I mean,
Newport,
it's
so
not
cute.
far, and this rush hour is a little far, but it's worth it. So I could bring some to explain. So there's things you can do to tone and tighten the muscles.
Is that this thing where you put the yoni in and then you like do the
and you squeeze,
thrusts
right?
and all that,
And also
Okay.
yoni steaming, it helps. Now that can be the best thing you can do. For the guy, it's a little challenging, but there are things that men can do to grow their lingam, both
Really?
on a budget, free and expensive. And I've sat in
What,
So-
surgery?
Well, have you heard
a
about?
pea shot? So a pea shot, which I've actually sat in on, I've actually had the O shot as well. So a pea shot is a PRP. So I do PRP in
Okay,
my
I do
face
PRP, I
and
know
my
what
hair
it
and
is.
stuff.
Yeah, I did that. I did that
Yeah.
in my knee.
Okay, so
Yeah, I
imagine
know
doing it in the
PRP.
top
It's
of
a
your lingam.
spinning of like blood or something.
And your plasma.
The
And
plasma.
so imagine if they just numbed you and injected it in the head of your penis.
Mm.
And if they mix a little Botox in it too, they can get you length too.
Now,
length
is
and
that what
girth.
Ocho Cinco? Did you hear him saying that he did?
I didn't, but now I'm gonna go look.
Yeah.
no,
so
no. But like,
he said he got a surgery. Ocho Cinco
He might have got
publicly
a
said
full
he got a
surgery.
to lengthen his thing.
Now there is actual surgery that they can do that's a lot more invasive.
Oh,
This
okay.
is like I sat in on one of these. It's very painful. The guy was numbed and he was still crying, and I was like, I'm an empath, so I was like, oh my god, I make it stop. But I'm like helping the doctor and filming and commentating.
but
and
there
it
can
was
be
wild.
complications too.
To a surgery. The PRP is just your own plasma.
Yeah,
put
but
back
like
in.
they say, like you can lose feeling. I never want to.
I think with the surgery with PRP.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either, but I'm PRP is pretty. It's just like
PRP
pretty
is a shot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just a
I don't
shot.
Think that's,
So
so
what
what
is
is the O shot that you?
So the O
mentioned?
shot and the P shot is just basically PRP, and it's spun, and it's your plasma that's turned into liquid gold, and then it's put back into the head of the penis, and or the base if they want to thicken it and then get more girthy.
Okay.
For the women, it's shot into two places: the clitoris, which I did mine live on camera. Like they didn't show everything, but they showed
Oh.
enough. And then they also hit the G spot, and then so.
What does that do?
So what it does is it creates more collagen,
Okay.
more the growth of encourages more stem cells, and it encourages more more collagen and elastin to make things more lubricated, more tight. And what
Mm.
happens is I didn't actually feel it at all when they were inside me. On the clitoris, I felt it even though I was numb. And I was like, bro. And they're like, try to act like it doesn't hurt. I'm like,
What?
what the heck?
Oh,
It does.
God.
And like that's what I was telling you
Yeah.
today. I actually did the Femi lift, which was another doctor because I work with a lot of doctors because I'm a
Yeah.
huge biohacker, and so I make content for them, and then they like do the treatments for free or pretty
Nice.
close to free. But so I did the Femi lift, which is a laser that goes in
in the
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 vagina,
yoni.
so
Okay,
it's hot in
yeah.
the yoni,
You gonna try some of this?
I
and
don't
then
know.
they
I'm
go
interested
in.
to hear about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you'll see it on my
Yeah.
It sounds like
stories.
you're interested in it though.
So they go in,
I don't
and
know,
it's
never know.
it's a very strong, powerful laser. It's hot, but there's a sapphire
Oh God,
thing.
what does this do now again?
I don't think I have the
This
strength to do
encourages
these
like
things.
if women who have issues with like peeing when they all this type of stuff, it does
Being one more,
like peeing when they sneeze or when they jump or when they cough.
Oh, is that mainly women who had children?
It can be, but not
Oh,
always.
okay,
Just
okay.
remember, it's a muscle.
Does this help when you Does it help have orgasm or something?
It does.
That's
It creates more lubrication, and the O spot's really good for
Yeah.
that too. Creates more lubrication, helps with the entropy and the atrophy of the muscle. Because remember, you don't have to have kids to not have ever worked your yoni muscles.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
they still atrophy,
Yeah.
right? And the prolapsed uterus is the #1 most avoidable surgery for women. That I help save a lot of uteruses by just telling women put the yoni eggs in and do them. I like to do some like extreme things. So the Femi lift, it's like $3,000 procedure, but they go in.
Damn.
It was done in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. She went in and just did one. But because I'm young and youthful and all that, it's not that hard. But she just does one circle and then another circle. I didn't feel anything. I was talking during the whole thing. When she pulled it out, I just felt a little bit of warmth. I was like, whoa. And she's like, yep, that's because it was hot. But because it's inside of you and there's a sapphire crystal, you didn't feel it.
And that tightens? Is that
It
what
tightens
it is?
it.
Okay.
It helps with lubrication. It like basically, and they biopsied before and after. She showed me the pictures. It shows the tissue like kind of like imagine a muscle that's like all that, and then imagine it's like that. That's like what it's doing. So it's creating more collagen, elastin, and
great.
Amazing. So there's things you can do if you want to.
Yeah.
You don't have to leave the person just.
I'm never doing nothing. I'm good.
No. I'm saying like you don't have to do that stuff. There's a technique for men.
I mean, it's interesting.
Okay, so he might be the stallion. So the stallion is the largest. So it's
no, I'm not no
okay.
Stallion.
So then he's the medium, whatever, or he's the carrot. Who knows? There's no judgment. He could be the carrot, the banana, the stallion. It's up for everyone to figure out. Listen, I don't get embarrassed, so I can talk about this stuff all day.
I'm good.
But some men do have to.
Ocho Cinco literally said he came out. It was really vulnerable of him. He said on a whole platform, "Hey, I think he was a Shannon
So
Sharp.
he was maybe a carrot or a banana.
I don't know about that.
Ocho Cinco came out.
I'm gonna look it up.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand what he said, but I don't know about
You don't
that.
think he had the
really
surgery?
said it? He
Why would
said
he
he
say
did.
that?
I understand he said it.
Oh, you don't
but
believe him?
I don't believe it.
Okay.
So, because basically he told a whole story. He said he was with a girl. The girl said, "Hey, I have a papaya baby. This is not working for me."
Okay.
He said he was stressed out about it, and he went and he said, "Boom, I'm gonna get a surgery." And he said from there, he grew inches.
How many inches? So with PRP, by the way, the results that people get are between 1 and 2 inches of length and width, and it lasts for up to 9 months.
You got to keep going back. You might as well go get the gas station pill.
So okay, here's
keep going paying. That's like Tylenol. You gonna keep getting sick.
No,
you gonna keep paying for Tylenol.
But no, you know what happens with PRP?
Nah.
It grows, it builds. So like with girls with filler, it's just like a one-stop shop. I don't do filler. I only do PRP, which means it takes time and it builds when you do it. So eventually you do it a few times, then you only do it once in a blue moon to maintain it.
So it kind of like
because it's building collagen and it's building elastin and it's encouraging new stem cell growth. So do you see what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know. I had it in my knee. I know what PRP is because I had it for my knee because my knee was messed up.
I heard that's intense. That's an intense
No, it wasn't
shot.
intense.
No,
it was just quick, boom, boom, boom. Because all it is, I thought it was just, let me think. It just regenerates like the blood cells in the knee to help it heal faster.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know it was I don't know if it like growth stronger, whatever in my knee, but I had done that a couple times.
That's very common, and the hips too. They do it, but they use it a lot now for beauty.
Yeah,
so
it's
for
like it's real quick.
Like
they come in. It's
Morpheus
like for me, they
everything.
just came in. I guess I gave them blood.
Yes, they
and
spun
then
it
they
in a
spun it
centrifuge.
and then just put it right back in
they
my knee.
inject it right back in, and it looks like urine because it's like bright yellow. It should be when they put it back.
It was so long.
He's like,
ago,
I don't know. I don't drink urine like you, but anyway. But
I know guys that sports dudes that's talked about it. I mean, it's interesting to hear these stories.
Yes,
you know, I'm not going to judge you because of some of the things that, like, you know, maybe you're right. Maybe I don't know something.
Who knows?
You know what I'm saying?
Could be wrong. Works for me, but for for guys that don't want needles and they want to grow their lingam, they can do jelqing, and I talk about that briefly in my book. It's actually an ancient practice that the Sudanese men developed, and the tantrics sort of like kind of coined it their own. So it's it's basically like pulling and stretching the lingam from a young age, from 12, and it creates more circulation, blood flow, and they swear that they get both length and girth if they start when they're young.
So you can't do it at an older
You can do it at older.
Yeah.
It just takes a lot longer to see the effects.
You got to do this shit like every day for like 90 days.
Yes.
But I don't know.
Yeah, even longer. And they say it works.
I don't know.
But there's
I'm just saying, you just
longer than 90
all
days.
she's saying, you got to jack off.
That's
what she's saying.
No, that's not what you do. You pull and stretch, and it's a
pull and stretch. What you doing? What you mean? Lotion?
Okay. No, don't use lotion on your lingam.
Coconut
you
oil?
only want to use coconut oil. Yes. No toxins on the lingam. We don't need testicular cancer.
So all that is you just what that do?
So according now, I've had clients and colleagues that have done it, and they say they've gotten results.
Have you ever witnessed a guy you've seen his penis and he did whatever you said and you saw it?
I've seen it, but I don't know what his before was, so I can't say. It works.
You gotta get a before and after.
I know. But listen, if a client tells me I'm happy and I've grown, then I don't need to see it. I'm like, great.
From what? From his exercises?
Grown from the jelqing. But the jelqing is not a quick fix. It takes
jelqing. Is this in the book?
A little bit of jelqing's in there.
Jelqing?
Yes.
You need to take notes because you're gonna.
No, I just the words I want to keep up because I like the lingo.
Okay. Yeah. So
because it's better than what we say, like jacking off.
Yeah.
It's not jacking off. She's saying no.
It's not joking. He's joking. He's joking.
But first of all, if you're my client and you come to me and you say, I want to last longer, which we know the average man lasts 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
That's a long time.
5 minutes is not a long time.
Oh, my God. All right. Let me ask you
5 minutes? Are you serious?
5 minutes is long for me.
You guys are
5
crazy.
Minutes?
Let me tell y'all something. Now it's my turn. I'm on the stage now. Hold on. 5 minutes?
It's like 3.
Are you serious? All right, let me ask you something.
Okay.
Do you go to the gym?
Yes, I do.
What exercise can you do for 5 minutes? Can you do any exercise for 5 minutes outside of running
like
and
running or Stairmasters?
No, lifting.
If it's super light,
if it's light,
I mean,
5 minutes of this. You think you can do that? 5 minutes of it. No matter, I don't care what weight it is.
Okay, maybe it
don't matter what weight
I'm gonna atrophy.
You can grab the 5 pounds.
Yeah.
You think you could do 5 minutes of this?
Probably not. I'm not gonna lie.
So a dude doing this for 5 minutes? How many? A hip thrust for 5 minutes?
Okay, but
how many hip
where's
thrusts?
my intimacy guy?
How many hip thrusts you think he getting?
Probably not at 5 minutes.
Like
for
I like sex to last.
But okay, but it's not. But Paul, this brings me back to what you both were saying so eloquently when we started. It's not about the.
That's when sex start, right?
No.
When does sex start? When
okay, well, is that when it starts? I misunderstood you. I'm sorry.
Listen,
no, you're correct.
The sex starts
at penetration.
Nope. The sex don't start then. The sex starts once we I'm dead looking you in your eye.
Well, that's the intimacy, dear.
But that's when it starts.
Okay, but that's different. We gotta speak the terms of the physical act of sex. Guys are only lasting 5 minutes.
The physical acts of sex, 5 minutes is a long time.
I like my sex to last 2 to 3 minutes with a man.
Really?
Yeah. Anything longer than that, I'm like.
Okay, but so I'm going to go with.
How long you like?
Okay, Paul. So I'm going to go with what you're saying about the intimacy, right? So we start, and what we do is
kissing on your lips and your neck.
We're
yabbing down and doing all this and rubbing on you and coconut oil. That's when it starts.
Okay,
but she's saying terms.
All right, so
because you flowing.
Of course.
Like, oh, hold on. It's feeling right.
No,
when you start feeling a certain, your energy
agree with
start
you.
Feeling a certain way, that's when it starts.
So I'm saying, not using like technical terms, we'll go with yours. So yab yum, the picture you see on the book, we typically start in that. And we'll just breathe and we'll sit in that. Like I'll sit with the last partner. We didn't have sex. I just dated him for about a year and all we did is this, just yab yum. Okay.
What's yum yum called?
Yab yum is a balancing of both divine Shiva and Shakti.
So y'all just hold each other naked?
And embrace all of our chakras.
Naked?
If you believe in chakras, are aligned. Yeah, we typically during sex you're naked.
No, you said you didn't have sex.
We didn't.
But you would just hold them like while y'all were naked.
Yeah, just like this or clothed. Either way, depending on. What? So you get really wet like that first of all because. Kiss? You can, or you can just keep it
just
very
hold each other.
Breathe. Yeah, you can do this. I can do this with clients. I can do it with my son. You can do it. Women do it at my retreats. Strangers who've never done it. So it can be as.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, strangers at my retreat do this.
Wait. Are y'all naked?
No, we're clothed.
So
my retreat is like
so
PG.
you just hold each other like this.
Yes, it's not just that though. It's a breath and it's aligning of chakras, energy centers. So our energy centers are kind of playing ping pong back and forth all the way up.
Yeah.
So that is part of the quote sex, if you were saying.
Okay.
So then when we talk about penetration, we might start making love, if you will, the actual physical sexual part of it, and we might go for a few minutes. But then we might move back to yab yum. Okay. I'm not saying, but
that's dope. That's kind of dope,
right?
Yeah,
and then that.
That's kind of dope.
We might do some meditating together. Then we'll go back, but that could last for hours.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? So dope. That is what tantric lovemaking
you know what
is.
that does?
I love that.
That's like, damn. It's gonna make the heart rate go up, and then it's just gonna be the climax is gonna be crazy at the end.
Yes,
you constantly like, damn, I want to finish, but then you not, and then you keep going.
And then
back
we
and
move
forth,
the energy together.
The energy
and
is
then
just transferring back and forth, and it's like, hold on, the man go crazy all the time.
Crazy, and what happens is we have the climax gap where men are climaxing in 5 to 7 minutes, and women, if they're lucky enough, right, to climax, they're 20. So then we have this huge gap. And what happens with tantric lovemaking, we now are bridging that gap to give women a chance to actually climax. And the man is like exploring her body and worshiping her, and we're doing rituals together, and then we're praying, and then we're what we call climax creation or orgasm manifesting. We're doing things together, and then the energy just builds and builds and builds. And men can have multiple climaxes. They can have multiple orgasms, just like women can. But this is how we do it.
That's crazy.
We build the energy.
This is amazing. Like this is.
You guys have to come to my retreat. It'll be so much fun.
I would love to do that. Where?
Bali in September.
Okay. I have some Indian friends.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Invite them.
Yeah. I do have some Indian friends. They can't wait for me to come.
Okay.
I got some Bengali friends too.
Really? Okay. Oh my God. Amazing. Guess what? My book's actually dropping in India in the next month.
So this is not out yet?
It is out here, but we're going to drop it in Indian bookstore. And I was just on a big Indian platform, the biggest Indian YouTube channel. Yeah. So we're trying to get this really in India because this is where it started.
Yeah.
So how cool is that?
Wow, this is
so there's so much to be had because I'm not about, listen, guys, and I vouch for guys all the time, as you saw on Sean's show. It's so hard for men to keep an erection. Hard, pun intended. So hard for men to keep an erection. First of all, to get one, yes. Athletes, you guys don't count. I always say.
I'm not an athlete. I'm retired.
Okay, retired, genetically gifted men. Typically, these men, they don't have problems with it.
Why do you like, all right, let me ask you, why do you like black men? That's a real question.
Really asking this question?
Okay, it's a real question.
Wow, I lost my composure for a minute because my mind was like,
said that.
Okay, for me, I'll tell you. I have 5 planets in Libra. I don't know if you know about astrology. I'm a Virgo Leo, but I actually became a Leo. So my ascendant is okay.
What's your sign?
So my sign is Virgo, but I'm a Leo. I'm on stages. I'm speaking. I'm charismatic. That's Leo. And my ascendant, most people can tend to be more like their...
You know I'm a Libra.
Okay. So I have 5 planets in Libra, which means that I like aesthetic things. Leos like balance, but they also like the beauty and everything, right?
So what do you mean you became a Leo? I'm
okay.
Interested in
so Tantrics, we use a lot of astrology.
I have a strong energy with her for some reason.
We might have a past life. We can chat about this.
No,
but
I don't even know how I even this even came about, but it did.
I think you saw me on Sean's channel.
But I don't follow you.
I don't know.
I don't know who Sean's channel is.
Sean Kelly?
Who is that?
He's the his like.
I don't even know who that is.
Okay, well, after my video with Sean went out, that's when we connected. So who knows what happened?
I don't even know who Sean is.
He just interviewed Andrew Tate. He's a big podcaster in Vegas. He's young. He's in his early 20s.
I don't even know who that is. I don't even follow him.
Wow, good for you. You live under a rock. I love that. But basically, he's a major podcaster. He has anyone who's on.
Sean Kelly?
Yeah, he's young, but
he's maybe if we saw
him. I'll send the stuff and you'll see.
Let me see.
So basically, I have 5 planets in Libra. So I have this thing for aesthetics, right? Yeah. I always wish I went for the guys with money because life would maybe been easier for me, girl. But I always went for the guys who were just tall, black leads, as I call them, tall and beautiful.
Sean Kelly.
Yeah, that's when we connected. After my podcast with him, we had over 1 million views.
Let me see him.
I don't know what he looks like. I don't even know this dude.
Okay, so who knows?
This is the guy with the glasses?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But we connected shortly after my first video with him went viral. So who knows? It got pushed somehow.
Yeah. It's not relevant. I mean, it is.
But it's all energy.
He asked me to be on his podcast.
That's probably why. And maybe you were following him, and then that's how, that's probably what happened. Because you maybe saw something of mine and his. I'm thinking that's what happened. But basically, that's kind of how it got started. I just had this affinity for aesthetics and really tall, athletic men. I don't know why. It's just the Libra. I blame it on Libra planets. I have 5 of them, right?
Wow.
So I like aesthetic things. And so, and then.
I follow him for some reason.
Yeah, you do. And then after, I know what they say is true. Once you go black, you just don't ever quite go back.
It don't go back.
Is that what happened?
It is what happened. It really is. And then I just kind of.
She said, once you go black, you don't go back.
It's kind of true though. And then I don't know.
That's
There's something
crazy.
about just a tall, dark man. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, I feel small and.
Who you like right now?
Yeah.
Who's who you like tall, dark?
Let me think. What show was I watching where I was like,
Kevin
dude,
Garnett?
the guy. Oh, there was this. Do you
Michael
know that
Jordan?
Oh no, those are too mainstream.
Do you like Skepta?
Who's that?
Seal.
No,
I'll just name 3 tall, dark men that's
I don't
handsome.
really I mean, I think they're all attractive guys. I've never had crushes on them though.
Who you got a crush
There's the
on?
guy that played in what's that one movie that's on Netflix that
Oh my
Tyler
God.
Perry made about all the the strippers and it's made in Atlanta.
It's called Black and
Yes, Beauty and Black.
I never watched that though.
The driver that drives around the chick, the really hot black chick.
That's crazy.
Oof, I'm like, dude, drive me around, please.
I'm crying.
No, just if you're athletic and tall, and it's
so
just
where are you at relationship wise?
Well,
now?
I don't really kiss and tell now because
okay, are you just yes or no in a relationship?
I mean,
are you in a relationship?
She doesn't want to share. I don't want.
Are you in a relationship?
She doesn't want to share that. And we're not sharing anything.
What's the
over
problem?
here.
I'll speak after on it.
She doesn't want to speak.
I'll speak after. Okay.
I'm single.
Women are different. We're different.
So it ain't like you exposing your man, but you don't want people to know that you're you're talking to him or not.
Yeah, because it's just what I told you happened. It was I decided I'm gonna keep things really under wraps. But I will say this: this year I focused fully on my business and on my son and on myself. So I'll say that if that says anything. And and I think and I'm not saying this because you're here. I'm really not. I really didn't know anything about you. I just knew, I didn't even know that you played ball until I mentioned, I said, I'm going to go on the show with this tall, good looking guy and his co-host. And then someone was like, he's a basketball player. I didn't even know because honestly, I'm from Texas, so I followed football. And I dated someone pretty seriously who played in the NFL.
What's his name?
He was the special teams.
We don't know him.
Probably not. The brothers, they were from Nigeria, and they both played on the NFL. Okay. He played with Urlacher.
And he's from the 90s on that 90s team.
He played for the Bears and also for the Purple and Ravens.
I don't know anything about
Ravens.
Yeah.
So what I will say is we're doing a show called It's Pierced by Love.
Okay.
And Paul Pierce. What?
Is this pretend or no?
Ooh.
No, this is
real. Okay.
And it's called Pierced by Love, and we're doing Paul Pierce is Looking for Love.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you should cast me on it because I'd be great.
If you would like to be on the show,
I would be great. I'm just good for the camera, period.
Great. Well, we could definitely cast you on the show if you feel like you could be a good candidate. Let me see.
Wait, are you saying no? Or are you saying no? I'm not a good candidate?
No, I didn't say.
I think because he was making those noises. I'm like, wait,
I'm saying maybe we should. You're like, okay.
No, I'll be great.
Hold on, Dad. This is the first page I pulled on. Like, damn.
I'm good for the camera, and I'm great energy.
If you would like to be on the show, we're filming in Vegas.
Jesus.
Okay.
In the last week of March.
Man.
So
I'm
if
around.
you are and you want to be one of the contestants, let me know.
This is you. This is all you in here.
These are all me. Yep. Why?
Man.
What is happening?
I'm crying.
I love this. We have to have a past life or something.
Oh,
So
no.
you're what's your sign, beautiful?
I'm an Aries.
I knew you were. I'm like,
Really?
she's fire. I could tell, but that's good because you need that because he's
Damn,
Libra.
this
So
book
by
is
the way,
right.
Tantra we use a lot of
Oh,
astrology,
God, I
but
can't
we
wait
use
to read
Vedic.
this.
So
Okay.
so you're air, I'm earth, even though I'm sort of earth fire.
Is
and
this
then
guy your
he's-
partner?
But I'm
No.
Aries is fire, but so I
Or
why am I
was?
Earth?
No, I'm earth. You're
Oh, okay,
fire.
okay.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sweetheart.
yeah, no.
And
no.
he's air. He's Libra, which is why
Libra's
air
air?
and fire go really well together.
Yeah, we do. That's
so you
why
guys are very
yeah.
complimentary because
Yeah.
he's kind of floating around looking at beautiful things, and you're like,
Right.
all right, let's get this
yes,
show going.
That's us
So-
100%. I have to whoop him into shape every day.
Yes.
fair.
So you guys are great.
We are.
We're
We're
amazing.
I would
We
love
are.
to know what his ascendant and what your rising is.
He doesn't know. I know mine.
I could, if I get
How
your
do you-
birthday and stuff,
10,
I can.
13, 10,
You need the
13.
time that you were born.
Yeah, time and the place, and then I'll put it in my chart, and I can.
I can get it for you. At
The
a
Yeah.
time and what place? What do you mean? What place? What,
Like,
hospital, Kaiser
yeah.
Hospital in Oakland?
So you're born in Oakland, California, and then
Yeah.
the time.
Like 3-something in the morning.
You have to know.
Say,
the
so
exact
was I. I
time.
was born at like 3:30 in the morning.
I
Something
can
like
get it
that.
for you, and we'll figure it
Yeah.
out. But
I know.
yeah.
I got my birth certificate. That's enough.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
figure it out. But yeah, rising. Mine is Capricorn, and my moon is Sag.
This wasn't your partner?
Wait, which one? No,
I mean, it's the same guy.
You guys are gonna have to look at this book, y'all, because it's getting. It's
Show them some of the images so they can see.
Nah.
You should go to Amazon.
No,
guys.
I'm looking at this one right now.
Oh yeah, that's the
That's what I'm saying. It's
spiritual-
been this one, same
spiritual
guy
one.
in the last 3-4 pictures.
Yeah,
I've
he's
seen.
the spiritual one. There, Keith Mitchell is an ex-NFL player. Shout out to him. He sometimes co-teaches with me.
I mean, this
Never
is not
had
our
sex
partner,
with him,
though.
by the way. Never had sex
But this
with him.
is not our partner.
Never had sex with him. Promise.
Yeah, I get it.
By the way, guys, Amazon. I'm a first-time author.
All
Show
right,
me some
everybody,
love.
check this
Like,
out.
show me
Check
some
this
love.
out,
Jennelle.
y'all. I am
First
so
time
excited to
author.
read this book, y'all. So check it out. Unfuck yourself and your
sex life.
unfuck yourself life.
Your sex life.
Unfuck
okay.
your sex life.
Yes.
You know, if you are a struggling couple that needs spark
Yes.
and needs
Or
knowledge,
even singles,
I
or
swear,
even singles.
This has been a very interesting conversation today.
it has.
Intimacy Tantra Master.
Yes.
Come
Jennelle
on.
Gordon.
And
Yo.
my lineage goes back like 4,000 years. I'm not just your, I throw time. Like, this is the real work. And singles who come to my retreat, they might find their partner there, or if
Yeah.
not, within 30, 60, 90 days, they find their forever
I
love.
can't wait to read this book. Honestly, I haven't read a book in years.
I'm so excited. I'm so
Yeah.
honored.
And I want to read
Yeah,
this
me
book.
too. Me
Like,
too.
I'm so excited to
like
read
that,
this.
That really
too.
makes that
No,
really makes me
seriously.
feel like,
Like, I
I'm
can't
so
wait
excited.
to read this book.
Yeah.
oh my
Hey,
gosh.
this Saturday, I'm going to be with my kids. I'm gonna be like,
You're going to sneak this
I'm
in.
going to bed early. I'm going to be
Exactly.
I always say,
Here.
well, now I
This
feel
is
bad. I
great.
should have brought a hard copy.
no, this is
listen,
great.
We're going to
Yeah.
order some because I know some
Oh my-
people who need this.
Yes,
and
please
we can,
give it a
Where can we
yes.
find this
Yeah.
book if we want it?
Amazon.com.
So if you want to order this
Okay.
book right here on Amazon.com,
And we'll add a link
your
on
sex
our
life.
YouTube, our
Yes.
YouTube and stuff. Make sure you guys get this book. Make sure you guys follow Jennelle if you want to
Wow.
learn more about just intimacy, your body,
Wow, this is
how
a
how to
great- this is
orgasm,
great.
spiritual stuff,
connection, yeah.
everything. And
Absolutely.
if you
Yeah.
want to go on one of these retreats, Paul and I are going to be going. So
Yes.
yeah, get into that. We're really, really, really happy that you came on our show.
And
Thank
don't
you
forget,
so much.
listen, in a few weeks, we'll be
Yes.
launching.
We'll be launching our dating show called
can't
Pierced
wait.
by Love.
And your first
Featuring
contestant here.
Paul Pierce, and we will have a bunch of women that are going to be casted. We will be this will be taking place in Las Vegas. So if you are interested, if you are a woman who really wants a chance with Paul Pierce, then make
Oh,
sure
man,
that
she's
you
crazy.
submit
Oh, my God. I
and
can't
understand that
believe
he
I'm
wants
dating
a
that.
God-fearing woman. Number
Amen.
one, you need to believe
Yeah,
in
for
God.
sure, for
You need to
sure.
pray. You need to be about that. He wants a
You
woman
have
who's
to-
secure. He wants a woman
Yeah.
who has her own things going on, and we're
Like
not
at
looking
least
for
somebody who has something
Oh,
busy.
I love it.
Yeah,
If you
and-
sitting around all day, you're gonna be too much worried about what's going on. You gotta be.
exactly.
You got. I just don't like.
you got to have something going, and no IG models. We don't want none of that.
I'm not on that.
Yeah. So like I said, make sure.
I mean, you could be an IG model, but if you got some other stuff going on in your world,
like,
to where it's keeping you
now
busy,
you can. Like last week they couldn't be that.
I mean, if that could be the
Last
side,
week
if that's
it
your
couldn't
side
be.
gig,
He's like, I don't mind the model.
No, he's
I'm
switching
just
it
saying,
up.
I'm
though, if
gonna
that's
be
your
the
side
substance in
gig.
the show.
Like, I mean, she could be an IG model. Shit,
I'm gonna be the
shit.
substance with the spice.
Yes, the substance. So
Hey.
we already got some contestants, including
Man.
Jennelle. So yes,
Man.
we're really, really excited, y'all. Make
Oh
sure you
my
guys tune in,
God.
tap in, and thank you for watching.
I can't wait to read this.
And make sure you guys get your
Can
book.
you sign this for
Yes,
me?
I was going to, but I didn't want to be cheesy. I would love to.
No, I want you to
Oh,
sign
my
this.
God.